Hello everyone, I am Harish Sharma. I am from India. I am in the southern part of India called Bengaluru. I'm a mechanical engineer by qualification and I have got an MBA degree in technology management from Australia. I started my professional journey in a company called ANZ, which is one of the largest banks of Australia, but working in India. Currently, I am part of Toyota Financial Services India, and I manage HR, IT, and administration functions. It feels great to be part of this conversation, and I'm here and very glad to be talking to you about future of HR. Future of HR. First, let me start with some of my views about HR. Now, any organization, especially a service organization, has mainly two assets. First, people, and second, technology. And people are basically the biggest asset of any organization. Then comes technology. Now, what is HR? HR is basically the department which is the custodian of this biggest asset that we call as people. Now, people are the one who make the organization. Now, the organization is what? It's just a bunch of people coming together and working for a common objective. Now, HR department may not be required if every people manager, every leader is able to manage their people management capabilities by themselves. HR is redundant. It may not be required at all. But that's probably an ideal state, an ideal condition. In practical world, you would probably be better having a dedicated person, dedicated department working for as a custodian of the biggest asset you have, your people. Now, HR department has to focus on people in terms of providing clarity as to what their real purpose for the organization is and build a people strategy that aligns with the business strategy. Now, when your people are aligned to your business strategy, your organization actually becomes an organization and then starts evolving towards achieving its vision and its mission. Let's talk about the role of HR. What's HR's requirement in an organization? HR needs to understand the organization's vision and mission and help it achieve this by making that place a great place to work for people, and then ensuring a very positive and vibrant culture around the entire organization. This is what will enable people to give their best. Now, if any organization is looking for long-term sustainability, it is the people that they have to focus. And that's why HR is one of the most important departments of any organization. And HR by itself has to realize this and ensure that they are so strategically important and then provide that importance to the organization and contribution to that organization. Now, what's changing in terms of trends? Now, technology is disrupting every walk of life. So, it is merging your personal life, your social life, your professional life, and kind of converging all of that into one part where you are doing all three things at the same time. Now, this is leading for our employees to have different expectations from an organization. They would expect a lot of flexibility, a lot of understanding from the organization, whereas for the organization, it has to be more competitive. Technology is actually creating such issues that the barriers for entry is getting less and less for people to come into an organization or come into a new business. So organizations have to become more and more competitive. They want their people to become more and more productive. So this is conflicting. Now, for any organization, you will have to make sure your business strategy is aligned to your people strategy, and your people strategy drives your business strategy for any success that you can actually look at. In terms of people, one of the first things we have to do is to provide them with clarity. Why are they here in this organization and what they are required to do? The definition of workplace is changing. Now, you are expected as an employee to work from anywhere and be contributing at any point in time. So it's 24/7 employee culture. Now, if you want your business to actually really be competitive, be able to give the best experience to your customer, be customer centric and provide convenience to your customers, you need employees always backing the organization to give the best to the customer. So employees really need to have this in their mind. Now, how can HR help? Now, technology is actually the answer. Now, technology is changing HR in more ways than one. And so now it's so disruptive that HR is no more the HR it used to be. According to me, there are 3 areas where technology is changing the face of HR. Number 1 is providing operational efficiency gains. Number 2 is actually in terms of providing analytics and insights. And the third one is bringing in predictive capabilities. Let's talk about the first piece, which is operational efficiency. Now, technology can free up a lot of your people's time by actually taking on the repetitive jobs, the mundane jobs, the operational activities. Now, this will free up a lot of time for your employees, especially your HR people as well. Now, what do you want to do and how you want to actually improve the usage of technology to enhance operational efficiency? There are a lot of technologies. Technology is not a problem. You can have a look at robotics, robotic process automation. You can look at full-fledged automation. You can actually utilize newer technology and build new systems. You can use cloud services, on-demand services. Technology is there. That's not the main point. The main point is how do you utilize the technology to gain operational efficiency for your organization. I personally look at this situation in using a 2x2 matrix. I call this a matrix of efficiency, a matrix for the future. Now, I draw on one side all the activities that we do into 2 buckets. One is strategic activities, other one is operational activities. And on the other dimension, I draw activities which are critical and activities which are non-critical. So now by doing this, I have 4 different buckets. Something which is strategic and critical, something that is strategic and non-critical, something which is operational and critical, something that's operational and non-critical. Now, for anyone who wants to actually utilize technology, I would always talk about looking and focusing on something which is operational and critical, operational and non-critical. Now, the bottom half of this 2x2 matrix is where you want to focus of utilizing your technology. Now, you want your people to spend less time on operational activities and more time on strategic activities. Now, this grid, the 2x2 matrix that I talk of, helps you identify those activities which you want to actually automate, where technology would come in handy for you. Use any technology I talked about, but ensure these activities are taken care of. Now, you would need your people to focus on what is critical and what is strategic, but that can be automated to a great extent, but you will still want your people to spend time. You want your people to spend time on something that adds future value, which could be strategic in nature, but may not be very critical for your current business. So if you can free up people by spending less time on operational activities, both critical and non-critical, they can spend a lot of time on working on strategic activities, which are critical, that's absolutely required for you from a long-term perspective, and really add value to the organization, give the competitive advantage to the business by focusing on things that are strategic but may not be critical now, but can be really competitively advantageous for you in the future. Speaking about analytics, this is probably the second biggest contribution of technology on future of HR. Now, in analytics as a technology, as a capability, provides amazing insights to people. Now, this is what would help you make informed decisions. In HR specifically, insights using analytics as a technology can be used a lot in figuring out who's the right person for your organization. Your talent acquisition program has to have your analytical capability. Now, do not always rely on your judgment. on individual's judgment. If somebody moves on, then you will always have dependency on people. I would always recommend utilizing this technology of analytics to actually understand if the person is the best suitable person for you. Is this the right person for the role that we are looking for? Analytics can look at huge amount of data and in a short span of time able to give you an insight that will help you make a right decision in acquiring the right talent. Now, once you have people in your organization, you ensure they are engaged, they are motivated. But how do you know how they're feeling? You can use analytics. You can use a lot of ways of gathering data. In fact, most of the organizations have so much of data, but they do not do anything about it. So please use technology to gather data about employees and use analytics as a capability to understand the feelings of the people and how they are actually feeling as an employee in the organization. Use that to keep them engaged. Utilize capabilities of analytics-based rewards and recognition program. Think about how an employee could be thinking if a particular initiative, which is strategic in nature, is brought in. How an employee can react. How a group of employees can react. How employees in particular function can react. Now, this is actually something that you can actually analyze, assess, and then take on the initiative so that the success of the initiative can be really, really good. Now, analytics, if used in the right way, can actually make HR really a strategic HR. For me, the future of HR lies in HR becoming more strategic in its nature and really contribute along with other functions for business to take the organization to the next level. Now, if HR has to be strategic in its nature, strategic in its contribution, it has to kind of embrace analytics capability that technology provides. Now comes the third piece one, which is called predictive capability. Now, technology is actually advancing to such an extent that now it's able to give you predictions of how things can happen. This is called predictive capability. Now, that does through a lot of crunching of information that is gathered. So I talked about analytics. Analytics is analyzing what you have. That's more of a post-mortem of what has happened. And then you can use that insight for the future. Now, what I'm talking about is a step above that. It is where your technology is telling you how things can happen, what you need to do, and what decision should be taken. So it predicts the situation. Now, this is great technology, and this is being used by businesses in every industry to its fullest extent. Now, HR needs to really make use of this technology. I feel this can be a game changer. Now, where can you use this? Now, this is something that's very, very, very interesting. So now you can look at your own employees and use this for your talent acquisition, talent management, and of course, your attrition management. Now, talent acquisition is a very tricky business. You can analyze the history of a candidate and try and see if that candidate is fitting into the role that you're looking for. See that candidate profile and see if this person will align to the cultural aspects of the organization. Can that person be a good cultural fit? Now, there's more analyzing it using the analytics capability that I was talking about. Now, what you can do now is, based on these parameters, you can actually have technology taking a call for you. So you can have predictive capability helping you shortlist the top 3 most suitable candidates for a particular role. So a lot of work of your managers is taken care of by using this technology. At the same time, there's huge consistency of how candidates get identified. So there's guaranteed time savings, there's guaranteed productivity enhancement, there's guaranteed consistency of decisions. So you probably will get higher quality of talent into your organization if you use this predictive capability in the right way. Now again, there's a lot more usage of this predictive capability. And I feel maybe the biggest is in terms of how you manage your talent. How do you keep your people motivated and ensure they give their best and they're able to grow very well in your organization? Now, predictive capability or predictive analytics can help you do that. Now, once people are in your organization, you have a lot of information about them. You know about how they have performed, you know how well they have done in terms of their activities, in terms of their achievements, in terms of how we evaluate their competencies and how we evaluate their potential. These data points are something that you would gather inside the organization. Using this and the predictive capability of technology, you can actually look at your succession planning. You put in your roles for which you want to do succession planning and then feed in this data of all your key potential talents, and they're going to tell you, okay, who are your potential successors for a particular role and how this progression can be managed. Now, this is an interesting topic. Now, you actually hired people to do this analysis. You can use technology to actually support them now so that this whole activity can be done quickly and decisions could be taken in a faster way so that any situation with respect to people can be managed in a much better way. It will also help provide a lot of clarity to the employees as to how their growth path can be seen in a particular organization. It gives a lot more transparency to the organization and as well as the employees so that they get aligned and they have clarity as to what they can look up to, and for organizations they know they have enough pipeline of talent to manage in situations where talent leaves the organization. Now, coming to talent leaving the organization, which is attrition or turnover. Now, this is another place where predictive analytics can play a very big role and contribute to HR. Really looking into this aspect of a sensitive aspect of an organization. How do you predict if an employee is wanting to quit? Now, that's an interesting capability to have, isn't it? Now, technology can provide that. This is not snooping into an employee, but it's about how an employee has this mindset that comes in sometimes, and how do you actually intervene as a HR and ensure that employee comes out of this thought process and is retained in the organization. So I talk about this more from retention of an employee, retention of a talent, retention of precious capability for the organization. Now, this predictive capability, predictive analytics technology, I feel is a real boon for HR specialists like us. And if used wisely, can be a real competitive advantage for HR. For HR to be seen in a very bright light, both by the management as well as employees. So technology can do a lot of things for you as a HR person. Now, it's for you to actually make the best use of that. Now, for me, fundamentally, as a HR, you have to give clarity to your employees. Clarity of purpose, clarity of contribution, and clarity of expectation. You will have to give them challenges so that it can stretch them a little bit more to go beyond their comfort zone. Now, you really need to give them an environment which is positive, an environment which is vibrant. You really need all types of people in an organization. If you're focusing and thinking that all you need is superstars, forget it. You will really not succeed as an organization. You need all kinds of people. You need superstars, you need stars, you need people who keep going on and doing their work just the way it needs to be done, not really going beyond their comfort zone. You still need them. There's a lot of work in an organization that gets done by these kind of people. They are basically 60% of your organization, if you think about it. So you need to take care of all these people and keep them motivated. And now this is not small work. So that's why HR is important. But if HR actually utilizes all their time, maybe 60% of their time in these operational activities, just doing some paperwork, just doing some kind of data entry, data capture, some kind of meetings. Now, that's not going to really do this job for the HR. If they have to do all these strategic activities that I was talking about, all the focus that they need to provide, they essentially has to embrace technology. And all the three things that I talked about, technology for operational efficiency, analytics, and predictive analytics. If these three elements of technology are utilized to their best by HR, I think they'll have a lot of time to focus on these strategic, real needs of HR, real contributions of HR. Just to summarize, the people are the biggest assets of any organization, and HR is the department that needs to really take good care of these aspects. the biggest asset of any organization. So HR is really, really important, and it's really, really strategic. Now, if HR needs to raise up and take its game to the next level, it has to embrace technology. And the future HR really rise in becoming tech savvy and people savvy. So focus on your customer, which is your own employees, and bring them a lot of clarity of purpose, of contribution and expectation. Create an enabling environment so that your culture becomes positive and vibrant, and use technology to free yourself up from a lot of mundane and operational activities and focus on how you can support your employees, how you can support your business. Ensure you have a lot of patience and perseverance. All that you're trying to do strategically is long-term in its nature, and your investments in technology also have to be thought from a long-term perspective. And finally, please ensure there is respect for people, and the teamwork is really, really respected and actually used as the ethos of an organization. If you have to motivate your people, if you have to keep your people happy and ensure through happy people or motivated people your organization reaches its vision, HR really, really needs to come out of these operational activities and then embrace technology so that they can focus and have a lot more time on their hands to focus on the strategic objective of a HR. The moment HR embraces it, the moment we as HR people embrace technology, not as something that's going to actually bring disruption to our lives, take off our jobs, but as a partner to actually contribute in a better way to the organization, I think HR would really serve its purpose to any organization. Hope this was a wonderful talk, and there were some insights that you could actually gather from my conversation. So it was great for me to have this conversation, and I really appreciate any inputs or comments. Thank you so much.